David Smolinski produced oneself for his flea. The mayoress of the cute El Hatillo neighborhood in Caracas had been endangered in detention for 3 years and he had seen some mayors arrested. So in August, while he was remote of office space and condemned to 15 months in jail for lack to hinder against government protests, it did not go as a big surprise party. On August 9, the day Venezuela's high trial was due to listen his instance, Mr. Smolinski went in concealment. The mystery extinction of a safety chamber at his flat done him suspicion his period was up and authorities were close in on him. I knew how sooner or after the dictator could include me detained, so I got organized, he told. No of his household knew his plans, but he had made his homework assignment. He had rehearsed the up. His unique schedule had been to get a ship. For one experience work, the ship could not set sailing. On else, the Coast Guard permitted it to sailing for Fair 10 protocol. So he knew outgoing Venezuela by sea would be unfeasible. The authorities had prohibited him of flyer, so how was not an stock option each. He chose not to chief to Colombia since some hunted leaders had fled the nation how path. I mind of Brazil since it would be a remarkable go for the mode, he told. Or Brazil is a strategy friend, how Venezuela is necessary to include while we include democratic state once again. So he cross Venezuela by vehicle, drive more than rather than 200 kilometer, 750 miles, to the boundary in Brazil. I shaved off my bearded, wore spectacles and a plain hat, and they did not recognize me, he told. He remaining in various places, through various state, all the period lie cheap. In a new sea and a Bible to offer the experience he was a sectarian man and to escape lot of questions, he gone via 35 checkpoints. At 4 persons of them, they verified the vehicle. But he told the at first few several hours were several of the tough. At the at first control point, the man said him to reduce the windows. Where was no on the way, it was tilt dark. While I planned I had all the checkpoints on the card. But the one amazed us, he says, addition, how he begun off traveling into some human beings. I told we were on feast and how we had leftward previous to delight the day and escape traffic. Later the man told, okay, you can come. It was really strained. Mr. Smolinski as well transferred erroneous ID, thing he does not sense pride on, but he told he had no stock option if he was always to get out of the nation. For his 35 days in concealment, he was frequently on his their own. He wrote lot letters and controlled to look TV of period to period. He had accessing to a portable telephone how the intellect services could not track, and at times as well had accessing to secure web. He had a crew who helping him, but he was careful on with them. They helping me in slight reel, he says. Later I understood how largest of the reel I had to do on my their own. It was the fit way to do it, not fair for me, but so as not to put nobody at hazard. Ultimately, on 13 September, he cross in Brazil. Out of determining precisely wherever he cross, he says he could not use an formal boundary. While he got to the some party, the authorities were wait for him. Of where, he flew to Brasilia to encounter the Secretary of Overseas Sphere. It was a really emotion time for me, he says. Mr. Smolinski is one of few mayors to include extortion leveled versus them. The history few months include seen a crackdown on by the government's policy opponents. And the history few months include as well seen few top-profile political community run. Largest newly ex-Caracas Mayoress Antonio Ledesma fled to Spain via Colombia. No, some credibility has been more than hunted rather than mayors, he says. If you present 10 millionth human beings, and such human beings now do not include the most of the mayors they selected, the is really hazardous for a nation, particularly since regional authorities are nearest to human beings. Does he wait to back quickly? I include to get ready for the lowest, he says. My grandparents leftward the Soviets Association in 1927, my dad leftward Cuba in 1970, so I am the tertiary general of Smolensk. I someone ve include to keep a nation since of a totalitarianism mode. Same distinction I wish to include of my dad and grandpa is to go behind to my nation. My grandparents never went behind to Kiev, wherever they were unborn. My dad has not been capable to go behind to Havana, wherever he was unborn, he says. Yet I expect I can back to Venezuela. But he believes where is yet a complex next front. Where's no guarantees law now in Venezuela to include translucent, precise and equitable elections, he says. He believes human beings' requirement to blood pressure the authority of CEO Nicolas Maduro more than where is a requirement to retake the gateway, non-violently, peacefully, he says. Law currently, I am completely confident. While you include hundreds of thousands of human beings deprecating, house which very annoys Maduro.